ghost and the scorpion are both.
Yeah. So my grandma, for almost her entire life, ate a jalapeno with breakfast. And
Wow.
I have never been in a jalapeno eating contest, but many members of my family have.
Are we already recording?
Yeah.
Okay, so just start
Yeah.
whenever.
Get going whenever.
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're on a time frame, right? You got like an hour? We can probably do this. I'll just ask all the questions
Okay.
and then you just eat and talk,
Right, okay.
mouthful and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Welcome to Under Fire, burning questions about poverty and policy with the Port Angeles Food Bank. Each episode, we turn up the heat, literally and figuratively, inviting local leaders to take on a lineup of hot wings while answering tough questions about food insecurity, housing, and what it takes to really build a just Clallam County. I'm Neil Dexter, Donor Relationship Manager at the Port Angeles Food Bank. Today's guest is US Congresswoman Emily Randall. We're honored to have her here in the hot seat today as we talk about the challenges and opportunities facing Clallam County. As usual, a huge thank you to our sauce sponsors, Woodinville Sauce Company, Seafire Gourmet, and Bootsy's Sauce Company. This show wouldn't be nearly as sweaty without you. Now on to the wings.
Okay, so ground rules. Do you sauce both wings or do we each sauce our own?
Usually I sauce them both.
Okay, that makes sense.
And
I was
with-
like, you could cheat.
So last time I was Mike French, I was doing mine first, and then I would do his. But it usually came out more the second time.
Okay.
So I'm happy to hand you the
No,
bottle.
it's okay. I trust you. I trust you.
Sauce one is Dos Aches from Woodinville Sauce Company.
I think that's good.
Cheers.
Has a smoky flavor.
Now you get the smoke first.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start simple. What's your go-to comfort food, and what memories does it bring back?
Oh, I was just talking about in the car, like really junk food favorite is microwave nachos, which I think is a common food for people who don't have a lot of money. When I was in 7th grade, my parents got divorced, and my mom had been a stay-at-home mom for all my life because I had a sister with complex disabilities, and she didn't go to college, and she was struggling to re-enter the workforce, and find a job to support her and us kids on. And that's when I started cooking a lot because she was working. I'd cook when I came home from school, and tortilla chips and shredded cheese were a very easy and very comforting food. But I also made a lot of sauteed cabbage and mushrooms and onions over white rice.
Okay.
A healthier comfort food.
Yeah.
Also cheap.
Yeah. Cabbage is traditionally fairly affordable.
I still it's like my go-to food at home. Like when I have to cook something, and I always have a cabbage in my fridge because, slaw, sauteed.
Bet you didn't know that.
Right? You can pickle it and make a little side dish,
Absolutely.
right?
Crowd it, ferment it. You do all
Soup?
the things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was amazing how many recipes I've made in my life where it's full of cabbage and you put, a container
And it
that
cooks
large
down, so-
and then it's invisible and it just kind of fills
All
up
that
some
fiber.
space. Yeah, it's so healthy.
I haven't mastered growing it yet, but that's, a hope.
We have Nashes out here. They grow some mean cabbage. So, question number 2. Sauce number 2. La Diosa Verde from Seafire Gourmet. Cheers.
Cheers. It's like a nice bright green chili flavor.
Yeah, I suspect some tomatillo in there, but many feel that both state and federal governments are more responsive to wealth than need. What structural changes would you support to realign policy influence with the lived experience of working people?
Yeah. This is something we focused on a lot when I was in the state legislature. I ran for office for the first time in 2018 and, ran a campaign where I talked to people at the doors about capital gains tax. And that's like a sort of wonky policy to talk to people about at the doors, but my neighbors at the time in the 26th district, very similar areas to Clallam County and South Kitsap and the Key Peninsula, they got it that the wealthiest Washingtonians weren't paying what they owed while regular, hardworking, low-income people were paying so much in taxes. And so I think working at shifting the tax structure definitely at the state level, to focus on a more equitable tax structure. I think we're now second most upside down tax structure in the country after the passage of the capital gains tax. But also at the federal level,
Yeah.
what we just saw in HR1,
Mhm.
you know, the big ugly bill, that's my names, obviously, is
You've created
right?
license here.
Yeah. Tax policy that only furthers transferring wealth from the hardest working Americans to the wealthiest 1%. It's like consolidating that wealth, you know,
Well,
taking away safety net funding
Yeah.
and
kind of burning down the structures to recoup
exactly,
it after them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why we need to give bigger and bigger tax breaks to individuals and companies that simply don't need them.
Trickle down.
Oh yes, that.
Any day now.
Right?
Any day now. The floodgates are just gonna trickle.
But I think the structures of the tax code are where we see who government prioritizes first and foremost.
That
And
makes
until
sense.
we have a tax structure that really centers working people and recognizes that our economy is built from the middle out, not from the top down,
Yeah.
then, you know, that's when we'll finally see a more equitable democracy and a more equitable future for all of us.
Sauce number 3 is Santaka.
The fruity one.
This is a fruity one.
Yeah.
Oh, geez.
That one always comes out fast and forget every time.
Yeah, that's
Okay, let me make sure that I don't
It's a
waste
running
any
one.
of it.
Yeah, make sure you get
right?
all of that. All right, cheers.
Cheers.
That was good.
What kind of fruit is that? A grape, mango, some ginger.
I think it's got some citrus in there too.
Mhm.
I want to say because
Yeah.
I feel like it tastes a little bit of acidity.
Mhm.
What's one experience from your childhood or early life that shaped the way you see the world today?
I think being a big sister to my sister Olivia is one of the most formative experiences of my life. I was 7 when my mom got pregnant the 3rd time. So I had a younger brother, Zach, who was 5, and my mom was pregnant with twins. And halfway through her pregnancy, the other twin died, and Olivia was born with really, really complex disabilities. I think in part because of getting too much oxygen and the way she was in the womb. She had physical and developmental disabilities that meant, like, for all 19 years of her life, she was like an infant. My dad had good insurance. He worked for the Department of Defense at the shipyard,
Okay.
but it wouldn't have covered everything Olivia needed.
Right.
She was born in 93. Washington State expanded Medicaid in 1993, which meant that Olivia qualified for double coverage because of her disability.
Okay. Some from.
Some from
Both-
my
both
dad's job, no, some from my dad's job and some from Medicaid.
Oh, okay.
And that meant that, like, the diapers that she wore for her whole life, her feeding tube and pump and formula, her wheelchairs, an inflatable vest that kept her from getting pneumonia more than 5 times a year, like, all of that was
Yeah.
covered because of Medicaid and the durable medical equipment coverage. And
Which would have been incredibly expensive.
I don't think
would
my
imagine.
family would have been able to stay in our house if we didn't have Medicaid coverage.
Right.
I think we would have been making really extreme decisions.
Yeah.
But I saw that government, like, had a role to play in taking care of people like my sister and our family. And it didn't happen right away, but that definitely informed my career choice and
Yeah.
how I saw the world. I ended up working in a lot of healthcare development before politics, and now it definitely informs how I see the importance of Medicaid
Mhm.
and health policy in general.
Yeah.
I think it's government's job to catch people when something happens to them that is so far outside of our control, or when the system is, like, stacked against us. We need our neighbors, but we also need government to step in when our neighbors aren't enough.
Yeah. Kind of for the people.
Yeah.
Piece of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad she got what she got.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember reading that when I was reading about you. Oh, I also found out you in fact have the coolest birthday.
Oh, do you also have the coolest birthday?
I also have the coolest birthday. So yes, we do have something in
I
common
love
there.
that.
Garlic habanero from
Ooh.
Seafire Gourmet.
Yum. like garlic, a little hint of like citrus behind. Oh, it's definitely gonna be spicy.
It's not, I mean, yeah, yes.
Yeah.
I won't say that. I do love the flavor of habaneros themselves. They're so bright. Home ownership, higher education, and entrepreneurship have traditionally been paths to wealth, but are increasingly inaccessible. What alternative strategies do you think policy should support to help low-income Washingtonians build economic security?
I think there are lots of creative ideas floating around in the Washington State Legislature, and I mentioned the capital gains tax earlier, but I think what's really important to the way we passed that is that it was paired with the funding the working families tax credit, and that's redirecting money right to working families, families who are under the area and median income, to help folks be able to afford their lives. And I think that we have to keep exploring ways to get money into the pockets of families that need it most. Yes, I believe also in like education and college access. Washington's one of the states with the most generous needs-based financial aid program for college. So for a lot of families in Washington, college at University of Washington would be free based on their income. Peninsula College, you can use it at a private school. Washington's financial aid is really generous, but not everyone is going to go to college. It's not the right path for everyone.
Right.
So how are we ensuring that any path that someone chooses, that they have the best information about each path, whether that's career and technical education, whether it's college, whether it's right into a living wage job, which we need more of.
That'd be neat.
Great. Because I think when you look at like rents, scrap home ownership, when you look at the cost of rent compared to wages, it's so hard to make that pencil out for folks.
Yeah.
We were at the shipyard earlier today, which is one of the highest paying entry-level jobs in the region. And there are a lot of entry-level engineers who are coming out of college and having to have like 2 roommates in order to afford housing.
Yeah.
Our whole region is seeing this rise in the cost of living.
Yeah.
And I think when we go back to turning our tax code right side up and making sure that we work from the middle out, like it will be more affordable for folks. But we also have to look at policy to lower the cost of housing, and we've seen rent stabilization policy pass at the state level. I think we should be looking at more housing like voucher programs instead of defunding HUD, which this administration has been doing. We should be looking at other credits for folks to build their first home, and programs like Washington State's first time homebuyer program. Years ago, I was able to buy my house after thinking I never would afford a home, much less a parking spot, when I lived outside of Washington. But I bought a home here because Washington's first time homebuyer program will provide you the down payment assistance you need. Like those programs should be national. Not just people in Washington should be able to afford to buy their first home. We should be expanding programs like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading an article about constrained or cost constrained folks, and the article is about the Bay Area, but I see a lot of allegory with, say, Seattle. Totally. Where people who make $100,000+ a year are qualifying as low income just because the cost of living is so high. It's so high. Yeah. So how do we control that, I guess?
And as Seattle gets more expensive, that like impact is expanding outside of just the I-5 corridor. Like Kitsap is getting more expensive. Folks are moving. And then we saw during the pandemic, all these folks moved from Seattle to Clallam and Jefferson County because they could afford to buy a house, and that's driving up prices too.
Yeah.
Of course, we welcome new neighbors to the community. Of course we do. But we need to manage housing at a regional level, not just a county level.
Fire roasted Fresno from Bootsy's Sauce Company. This one is good.
It's my favorite label of all the labels.
Did you hear that, Bootsy? Cheers. A little bit quicker. But then it kind of just, it goes there, and then it's kind of like, no, that's it. That's all I had to say.
And it's more of like a spice flavor than it has less fruit or, other smoky elements.
I think it's just like Fresno pepper.
Yeah.
We live in one of the richest countries in the world, yet food insecurity persists in every county in Washington. What does that say about the relationship between national wealth and local well-being? And where do you see policy failing?
Oh, I mean, not to keep harping on the tax code, but I think this is like such a recipe for worsening wealth disparity. We saw it in HR 1, in the Republican and Donald Trump's like landmark bill this year, that they took away supports for food security, for healthcare coverage, for housing assistance. They defunded every program in order to fund tax breaks for billionaires. Yes, there are already barriers to the social safety net programs that we had before they've been gutted. But now those barriers are increasing and the rich are getting richer. And we have some very generous people in this country who give philanthropically, but our system is not set up to ensure that everybody who needs food has food.
Right.
And we shouldn't depend on philanthropy only as a tool to keep people fed. That just is not, but those aren't our values as Americans. But if you look at our budget and our tax code, those are the values that are being passed over and over again.
They reflect
right?
the values.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, funding for local farmers to bring produce into food banks like this one, into schools, into people's kitchens, is being cut. And that's bad for local farmers, and it's bad for the ability of our neighbors to eat vegetables and to afford vegetables.
Yeah. Which then has that compounding effect where
Yes.
now I eat unhealthy. So now the healthcare that's more expensive.
Yeah.
I
it's
need a
gonna
lot
cost
more
me
of
more.
it. Yeah.
Yes.
And I need more. So yeah.
Right? And our hospitals are like hanging by a thread because their funding has been cut too. So we're just, if we don't redirect this course, we are going to see worse health outcomes, and we're going to see more people in poverty, and we're going to see more people without access to food. I think programs like, farmers markets where you can use your SNAP money for even extra, you get a boost with your SNAP dollars if you use it at the farmer's market. That's great.
Yeah.
Being able to bring those local farmer grown food to food banks like this, that's great. We need more of that.
Yeah.
We don't need less of it.
All right, here we go. Now we're gonna start getting a little spicy.
Okay.
Aloha from hell.
Aloha from
From
hell.
Bootsy's Sauce Company.
Oh, yeah, this smells very tropical.
Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, a little warming
Kind of
sensation.
percolates in there. About halfway through your answer, you'll be like, local food banks and nonprofits do incredible work, but often fill the gaps left by government policy. In your view, what's the balance between public responsibility and private charity when it comes to ending hunger? I know you just kind of addressed some of that, but...
So I, full disclosure, spent 10 years in nonprofit development and fundraising for healthcare and education organizations. My first job out of college was in philanthropy, and I never looked back. I think we are very lucky to have neighbors, both our actual neighbors and fellow Americans who want to help each other, build a better future. We see it on the micro level when somebody's house burns down and, your Buy Nothing group or your neighborhood Facebook group starts a meal train or collects, blankets or clothes for folks. I saw it when my sister was born with really complex disabilities, and our church community came out to take care of us. And philanthropy, I think, is an extension of that, where when people of means see a need and want to be a part of, building better for folks, that's something to celebrate. But when we continue to increase the divide between folks with the least and the folks with the most, philanthropy can't get us out of it. That's our system and our tax code, first and foremost, that is continuing to exacerbate this disparity. It's continuing to make people more hungry. It's continuing to make people more poor. Folks are getting richer, and it ends up being an individual choice of the folks who are benefiting from this tax code, but whether or not they get that money back.
I think too, the piece for me is, it's not, philanthropy seems to be it's a momentary, this year I'll give a gift.
Right.
Next year I might not.
Yeah.
But if, for somebody who's experiencing food insecurity, that one gift didn't cure whatever is causing their food, So I think that's something we've noticed in the nonprofit world around here is fatigue. It's donor fatigue, giving fatigue, emergency fatigue. You know, I think the pandemic really did a number on everybody.
Definitely.
In that sense, that, you know, what a great emergency that was. And, you know, a lot of places, a lot of people rallied. That was great. But then it's like, okay, cool, I've done my part.
Right.
You're good, right? Like,
And we saw that during the first Trump administration, there was a huge surge in donations to organizations, like healthcare organizations, and housing and other things that were impacted by, you know, the first Trump presidency's policies. But we haven't seen the same boom this cycle. I think probably because COVID exhausted folks in between. And I think you probably also see this a lot around Thanksgiving and Christmas, right? Individuals maybe who don't have as much means, but who want to donate to the food bank, they give a lot of food around Thanksgiving and Christmas because that's when they're thinking about it. That's when it's the season of giving.
Yeah.
But folks are hungry year round, not just for Thanksgiving and Christmas.
I don't know about you, but I do get hungry every day.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we do see a seasonality, and so yeah, that's tough to reconcile.
Yeah.
When it's May.
Yeah.
Like, okay, well, what crisis do we have this month that we can rally people?
Right.
Well, we don't have one,
No.
except that we are living in one.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
All right, let's get spicier. Reaper from
Ooh.
Seafire Gourmet.
It sounds scary.
It does, but it's not too scary. There's scarier.
Yeah, okay.
I'll
So
say
these
that.
three?
Yes, those three are a little scarier. So,
Cheers.
Cheers. There's definitely got more of the classic
Hot sauce flavor.
But yeah. What's one food policy you wish more people understood as a justice issue rather than a partisan one? And how could reframing it help drive action?
One of the biggest challenges in food policy, but also like social safety net policy, is the benefits cliff. So I don't know how many folks out there in TV world know about this, but
In YouTube land?
right? So you're struggling. So I'll use myself as an example. Like, I'm in between jobs. I qualify for benefits because I'm not making any money. So I'm able to depend on SNAP, maybe Medicaid, and then I get a job. It's part-time, but all of a sudden I'm making money. But like, I get to a certain point where I make too much money to qualify for benefits anymore. And in Washington State, we've worked on childcare to like kind of smooth out that benefits cliff. So you get a little less subsidy when you make a little bit more money. But there are a lot of benefits that like $1 over puts you over the cliff.
Done.
And then
Yeah.
you don't qualify for those benefits anymore. But a part-time job isn't enough to, you know, pay for rent and healthcare and, you know, to keep food on your table. We're just forcing people to stay in poverty. It's a disincentive for folks to
Absolutely.
work.
Yeah. My wife and I
And-
did the same. We call
Yeah.
it broke math.
Yes.
When you're eligible for a raise or you're being offered a raise, and it's like, well, I could take that,
Yeah.
but then I lose the subsidy that I'm getting over here, and so that's actually a net negative
Yes.
for my family. So
Yes.
I'll pass.
Right.
And I'm curious, and I guess this is tangential and probably the spice talking, but I'd be curious if there are enough number of places that knowingly benefit from that by, you know, I'll offer you a raise.
Right.
It's $1.
Yeah.
I know that if I offered you 80 cents, you'd still qualify, but I'm
Right.
gonna offer you $1, so you'll pass it up.
Oh my gosh, I hadn't even thought of that.
I know it's nefarious, and like I said, it's the spice. I'm sure.
Yeah, no, you know, there's always someone looking to take advantage of.
That's true.
Bend the rules in their favor. I'd love to see us tackle all these benefit cliffs, but I'd also love like a one single portal to prove your port. You know, you have to prove your port over and over and over again on different letterhead in a different office, using a little bit different words. You can't just Xerox. Sorry, nobody does that anymore. You can't just print out multiple copies of the same PDF to take to DOL, to take to DSHS,
yeah.
right? To take to HEN or HUD. Like, you have to fill out a different form at different places, and you often have to know like what it is exactly you're asking for in order to get the right benefits. And it depends on, you know, who's working at the time Obviously, maybe you get somebody who really wants to help you figure it out.
Well, are they having a good day or are
Right?
they not?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're underpaid too.
Yeah, they are.
And it's just a system that is so complicated. And I
Yeah.
think it's a system that banks on people opting themselves out to not qualify for those benefits.
Or at least banks on identifying disqualifiers in a robust way.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It is. And it means that more people are hungry, more people are sick, more people are unhoused.
Yeah. But I mean, ultimately, it ends up costing so much more. Emergent care is much more expensive than preventative care. It's been proven by someone, and I guess maybe that's a controversial statement. I don't know.
I think it's pretty well accepted.
We have 10 minutes.
Yeah,
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay.
Oh, geez.
It's
all right.
I just wanted to flag
Speed round. Meg, go ahead. Sit it nice and fast. This one is definitely fruity, as the name would imply. Mango.
Cheers.
Cheers. All right, this is an easy one. If you weren't in politics, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Before I ran for office, I thought that my long-term career goal was to be college president. I worked at my alma mater for 5 years. I benefited from really generous financial aid. I wanted to be a part of opening doorways to other first-gen students like me. A really hard job that our college presidents have these days. We get to spend a lot of time with Susie Ames, and all the incredible work that they do, even as higher education is under attack. But they're doing amazing things, like ensuring that students who are experiencing homelessness or food insecurity have the support that they need to not just go to class, but to graduate with a degree and support their families. That's my alternate universe dream.
President of a university. Do you
Or
have
community college.
do you have a particular one that you?
Well, when I first started thinking about it, I thought I wanted to be the president of my alma mater. But now I'd much rather stay in Washington State than live anywhere else in the world.
So you do.
We'll see. I'm doing this for a while, so.
That's fair. Hopefully. All right. Second to last. Ghost.
Cheers.
Cheers. What gives you hope right now when so many people feel like the systems meant to support them are falling short?
Yeah, that is easy. My neighbors. There are days when I really need extra hope, but during these last 7 months, I've come home every weekend from DC, and I come home all the time because I want to see my family and my dogs, but also because running into folks at the grocery store or the coffee shop or having meetings on Fridays, getting to visit community events. I see folks like you here at the food bank. I see our local electeds. I see neighbors who are so generously taking care of each other, who are really seeking to do their part to build a better world and future in Washington. I feel so lucky to represent a district in the state, to know that no matter what happens at the federal level, folks here are committed to keeping us from being dragged backwards. And when I get on the plane on Mondays, I'm able to take a deep breath and feel like the strength of that community that I take with me.
That's cool. We live in a neighborhood here where we're not necessarily politically aligned with every one of our neighbors, and yet that barrier hasn't caused any negativity, I would say, that I've noticed. So I can echo that. Scorpion.
Cheers.
This is one of those ones that turns on immediately. It's not horrible at first, but you know it. How can people listening to this right now make a difference in their own communities when it comes to food security?
Well, something that I learned today on our tour is that donations to this food bank are down. And so, folks should think about what they're able to do, whether that's filling the little pantry in their neighborhood or inviting over a neighbor who they know is struggling to have dinner, or by donating to their local food bank. There are a lot of people who are hungry, and there are some of us who have something to give. And so if you can provide that practical support to someone, or financial contributions, that means a lot. Also, you can call your member of Congress, my office if it's me, or if you're in some other state around the country watching this incredibly engaging piece of media, you could call your member of Congress. And if you live here and you feel like I'm doing what you want me to do, think about the people you know in your life, whether they're, elementary school classmates from long ago, former coworkers, cousins, aunts, uncles, anybody who lives in another district where their member of Congress maybe isn't taking the action that you want to see them take. Call your friends, family, former coworkers, and ask them to be calling their members of Congress too. Because it's gonna take all of us electeds hearing from people to stop some of this really terrible action. It's making people hungrier.
Mm-hmm.
And you might know somebody in another district that could be the call that changes the way their elected official votes.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I know you've got to get going, so
It was a pleasure.
we'll let you go. I hope we
I'm
didn't.
like well fed, got a little spice.
Yeah.
I don't have to wear blush today.
Hope
so.
we didn't burn you out. So
Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Yes, thank you.
Right?
That last one gets me every time.
Let's just note that she hasn't had one sip of milk yet, Neil.
I noticed. Trust me, I noticed. Like I said, the hardest part is sitting and patient and like listening.
It's the Chicana
We're-
in her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Shikana, it's just in the blood,